Majo John Madden outside of the OXXO store at the Red Energy truck stop on Autopista 1500 between Veracruz and that guy's going towards Orizaba. And you see the double trucks that you see in Mexico but not in the U.S. They're illegal in the U.S. Tough to stop all that way. So I have recently been working through my remaining trauma about two fabulous dogs I lost in June of 23 under an incredibly traumatic situation. Right after that, I ended up spending 3 months in the humble little pueblo of El Diamante along the coast in Veracruz State. And there I was adopted, and I adopted temporarily 3 street dogs, each of whom had a house where they could sleep at least outside at night, and people who would give them a little food, but all of whom were starving, really very hungry, and starved for love. So those 3 very fine dogs became my family for the 3 months in El Diamante. But I really haven't had dogs since. And when I went through my divorce, I did not have much withdrawal from being touched because she hadn't touched me for a year. But she allowed me to touch her affectionately, not sex, but affectionately. And I missed having someone to touch. And when I don't have dogs to touch, I miss that a lot. So these 2 dogs and another wonderful female dog, who apparently hasn't shown up yet. They sleep all day in front of this place, but they sleep at night somewhere else, obviously. And they're hungry. So yesterday I gave them two meals, 2 big meals, and they consumed them and wanted more. And then they wanted love. Not that one. That's the male. Isn't that classic? The 2 females wanted love, love, love. Touches, touches, touches. He's not into that. But naturally male dogs are. Naturally they are. So today I went more economical. I got kibble, croquetas down here, big bag of pedigree. And he was still looking for the canned food I gave yesterday. But when he realized that wasn't forthcoming, he took it. And it's healing for me. What's the Jefferson Airplane song? Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? We think that being loved is our primary need. No, giving love is our primary need. Being loved, getting love back is great. Street dogs are full of fleas, always. Always. They have to take a break from getting touched, acaricios down here, to attend to their fleas. Okay, so little pueblo of Cuihatlac, Cuitlauachac, something like that. We're into indigenous names. The Mexican government is getting wise. The whole Mexican culture is waking up to how powerful is the indigenous culture and how wrong has been the mistreatment for all those years. And there's a great podcast on National Public Radio, the Throughline podcast, called The Conquest, or The Great Conquest. The European myth that it was so easy for the Spaniards to conquest the Mayan dynasty because they had better weapons and were smarter. No, they had smallpox and they had stealth. The Indians were curious about them, a little suspicious but curious, and let them into their enclave, which was the greatest city in the world at that time, much larger than Rome, London, New York, much larger, and very sophisticated. They let them in, and then the guys brought out their guns and attacked them. But it was really the smallpox that wiped them out. Yeah. So the Mexican government is realizing we got to honor those people and we've got to learn from them. And whenever I get around indigenous people, like recently on the beach in Veracruz, there was a group of maybe 9 indigenous ladies with their long dresses out in the water, wading in the water, squealing with delight. One of their granddaughters or nieces had brought them. I just felt stunned into silence by the power of that culture. And I did 30 years ago take into my apartment in Chicago for 6 months a Guatemalan indigenous family that had fled the mountains of Guatemala because the right-wing dictatorship was literally annihilating them. They knew that if the soldiers were marching towards your town, they were going to kill you all, and they ran through the jungle. And that was on an American dime. That government was financed by the U.S. because we were afraid of communists. Yeah. So we act all uppity about how terrible what the Russians are doing in wherever the hell that is, Ukraine. But we did it. We did it on our dollar then, and then we stole from Mexico about 5 western states. It's not just Texas, it's California, it's Nevada. All were Mexico, and we stole it. We just took it. We just took it. Exactly what the Russians are doing. And it's good that we know it's wrong. We wouldn't do it again. But we ought to face the fact that we did that.